Hey folks, welcome to Friendly Orbit, the podcast that draws us together no matter how far we fly. I am Ceres, survivor of at least a few TTRPG horror stories, and I'm joined by...
Thea, your sadomasochistic storyteller.
What are we doing this week, Thea?
Today we are reading an RPG horror story. We are the Crit Crab now.
The easiest content format! We've finally gotten there!
Yeah, just reading Reddit posts. Yeah.
Do we want to explain what r/RPG horror stories is to the audience?
r/RPG horror story is a subreddit where people talk about their horror stories that they've had while playing RPGs. They can be both like horror stories in or out of game, but usually they're out of game, as in something goes really wrong at the table. This story that I bring to you is a story that I noticed because it was covered by the channel Crit Crab, which is a channel that entirely only reads RPG horror stories, and has gotten me kind of interested into like this subreddit. And this horror story in particular has been deemed the worst DM ever. And not in like, the thumbnail, worst DM ever. This is genuinely, like, in the video, he went on like a 5-minute rant about it.
I wonder if I've seen this story already. I remember one story with a really bad DM that was circulating all around Reddit a year or so ago. But I think that's interesting. The worst DM is truly a difficult title to achieve. You always think you've seen the worst DM, and then you scroll, and then you're like, wait.
This one is truly incredible. As a content warning, there's basically no content warning. And another reason I picked this one is because it doesn't have, in these stories, there's always some sex thing, and there's always some racial thing, and it's neither of these.
This is your rare family-friendly horror story.
Yeah, I mean, there is like mild sexual-related content, but it's not the problem, and it's not like we haven't. I think we've had the same level of content on this show before in terms of throwing out a joke. So I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado,
let's get into it.
Let's enter the dungeon. Oh, wait. Let's enter the Tomb of Horrors.
Let's enter the Tomb of Horrors.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's begin the story. The story was posted by the guy with the bow on r/RPG horror stories, and it's titled "It's the DM's World. We just kinda live in it." Warning, long, but we want to do a long one. All right.
Warning, long is just a great thing to put right in the top.
There's nothing else that's bad. It's something I should put on my pants, if you know what I mean.
All right, sure.
All right.
I mean, it already starts great. It's the DM's world. We just kind of live in it.
Yeah,
vibes. I've been there, buddy. I've been there.
Wait, is this one about me? This will be a recurring theme in this. This is a recurring
every time if it's about you.
This will be a recurring thing in this episode. Our story begins at the end of a game of Curse of Strahd I was DMing. The campaign had lasted for almost a year, but with victory found in Barovia, our table found ourselves without a campaign to play. One of the players volunteered to run a homebrew game for anyone that wanted to play, and 2 of us agreed to play.
Cool.
One thing I'm noticing as I'm reading this out loud is like, people, like the quality of writing on like our Reddit posts, like, it is what it is. Because I just read the word play 3 times in the same sentence.
I love that they are bringing to us in the year of our Lord 2025 the insights. Reddit posts are written poorly. Yeah. They are.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But
I
this is
just read
cool. I
that.
mean, this is a good start, right? Like, they played Curse of Strahd. They didn't play it forever. They just played it for a year. I approve of that. And now they're looking for a new campaign, and they're switching DMs. That's, so far, nothing to object
Yeah.
to. That sounds great.
And one of the players volunteered to DM, so it's someone you know, part of the game. You know, there's
Yeah.
already a little bit of trust and agreed upon like idea of how the game is played. Anyways,
And there's that sort of that trade-off, right? That's like, oh, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I DM for you, you DM for me.
exactly. Session 0 comes around and we have our group. DM, the former player and DM of this campaign, Roy, playing a Forge Cleric and the only other player, and myself, playing an Inquisitive Rogue. So we have a party of 2 plus the Dungeon
Yeah.
Master, and we had
It's
the
a small
OP.
group.
It's a small group, but that's, that can work really well.
Yeah.
OP is playing an Inquisitive, so we have a Rogue, and
Yeah.
we have a Forge Cleric played by Roy.
Yeah. So the guy writing the post, i.e. OP,
Exactly.
is DM of the last campaign and is a rogue, and then we have Roy the Forge Cleric and the new DM.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's admittedly a small group, but DM assures us that although the campaign will be difficult, it won't be impossible. So yeah, small groups, I think, work really well, and the DM just needs to adjust for them. But unless you're playing like 2 champion fighters, it's like...
Honestly, that could be great.
Yeah.
The thing for me is if you have like more of a cinematic style and you have a more dramatic style of storytelling, having fewer characters often makes the narrative more intimate and can make it better.
Yeah.
But there is this thing that TTRPGs are expected to, have 4 to 6 players usually, which means you have to adjust things in terms of mechanics. And you have to have the right players for it, obviously. If your players aren't like chatterboxes like us, then you might have more dead air, if you don't have 6 players, right? Because
but don't worry, this Dungeon Master assures us that although the campaign will be difficult, it won't be impossible. So,
it won't be impossible.
Trust the DM.
All right, let's do it.
Great DM. We all know it from the title.
You have to extend trust to the DM. That's the nature.
No. Of course. They are fools. They are fools and don't know what's coming. Roy and myself are excited to begin, as DM came into session 0 with a stack of lovingly hand-drawn maps detailing the expanses of his world, and let us decide what our goal would be. We discussed matters and decided that we wanted to play a long-term search and rescue game to find the lost and presumably kidnapped king of a foreign nation, with Roy being the king's son and myself being a retired knight captain and former friend of the king. DM said that this was all good, so we made our sheets and prepared for the game, utterly oblivious to the nightmare we were about to embark upon. So this is interesting, because this DM comes in with like a homebrew world with a lot of work put into it, and says like, you tell me what story you want to play in this world.
Yeah.
And I'll make it work for you. So it's not even like a DM comes in with a book in his head.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I think this sounds, just off of my gut feeling, this sounds awesome. I'm like, this is fantastic. The DM has a hobby for map making. That's cool. I mean, you don't need to have that to be a good DM, but that's cool. That, they basically were like, where on this globe would you like to be? And you just get to like point and be like, Titty Town. I want to live there. So
all right, Morty.
Cool.
I wanted to go to Boob World.
We can't go to Titty Town. Oh, my Rick Sanchez is awful.
Well, Boob World is literally a place.
Yeah.
In Rick and Morty.
But so that's cool, right? But if I wanted to give it an uncharitable read, right? If I wanted to like try to pick out where the early seeds of where this goes wrong, if the DM comes up with too much pre-prepared stuff, they won't be able to adapt it to players' needs. At least that's my experience. My experience is the best way to adapt your worlds to players' needs is to know about the needs and then write the world. I think it's a little bit, and this might be like this might be a bad example, but I think it's like code. At some point, adapting it is harder than just rewriting it, right? And so I think one place this could maybe go wrong is if the DM really does have a ton of stuff pre-prepared and is thinking to themselves, yeah, but I'll just edit it to make it fit their needs. that's actually harder than just leaving it blank until you hear what the needs are and then building it.
That's true, though. I will add that, like, if I mean, they seem to have created characters based on the world. So, the other way around can also work. You can say, we'll play an Eberron, so you make your character based on the Eberron setting.
Yeah, I'm
You,
curious who brought up the idea of the king being missing. If that was from the DM side or from the player side, because I thought it was really cool that the players, like,
I would bet that
developed their
it's a
concepts
DM thing.
together and like, you know.
Yeah, I would bet that it's the DM saying, like, and the king of this nation has gone missing, and they're like, oh, we could investigate that mystery.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, it's not
so
guaranteed, but that's kind of how
yeah,
my gut feeling from the
yeah,
situation as well. And I thought it was cool that they're tied into that and that their characters are related to one another.
yeah,
Not like literally, but they have
yeah,
a
yeah.
pre-existing bond. There's a
Yeah. So
reason why
to
it's these
reminder,
two.
Roy is playing the missing king's son, and is a
Yeah,
forge cleric, and the retired knight captain is now an inquisitive rogue. That's an interesting take on a rogue. It's like an older
yeah,
man, basically.
yeah. I agree. I was also like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
So
got the
yeah,
prince and the loyal rogue.
yeah. We arrive via ship at an empty port in the nation of Durandal and start our trek east to the elven city situated in the nearby forest. Upon entry, we're narrated that thick vines grow all through the woods with red thorns, a foot long each, and that touching one will turn us to stone. We, of course, take measures to avoid the thorns until we are suddenly surrounded by a wall of thorns that disappears up into the treetops. We asked the M to clarify, and he repeated we are simply suddenly surrounded and can't climb without risking turning to stone. It's at this moment an elf woman appears in a hole in the vines and demands our name. We, of course, give them and are escorted inside the city. Also, never give your name to the Fae. We're escorted inside the city when she reveals she's a queen of all elf kind. The first NPC we meet, I
I mean, the
remind
thing
you.
is, elves are not necessarily fae, right? Like,
It's
they're
true, but
related
if
to
you
the fae.
listen, if I am suddenly surrounded by thorn in a forest and an elven lady shows up and asks me for my names, you know, that's 7 red flags going off all at once.
You know what the 7 red flags for me are?
That
Hey,
you're suddenly surrounded.
Yeah, you're in an environment with a challenge. Okay, we try to surpass the challenge. Fuck, they surpassed the challenge. The challenge surrounds you, and you have no choice but to engage with it. It's like right from the start, the DM doesn't care to play to find out what happens.
Nope.
Right from the start, the DM is like, engage with my fucking thing.
Yeah, and the queen, the elven woman reveals that she's the queen of all elf kind, as the first NPC. She
Weird
leads
that
us to
she's just picking up dudes in
yeah,
the forest.
yeah,
This is how the queen of all elvenkind spends her time.
yeah. Apparently, yeah. She leads us to a building crafted from an ancient knotted tree, and after leading
Cool.
us to our rooms, cool, yeah. But also, yeah, I mean, okay, I won't be snarky. After leading us to our room, tells us that we've been left gifts. An extremely strange statement given how we just met this woman and walked straight here.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think this guy saw Lord of the Rings, and that Galadriel had gifts, and he said, "Why don't I put that in the beginning? It would be much easier if Galadriel gave them the gifts in the beginning of the story."
I wonder. I for me it feels like some kind of Sealy something, like don't take the gift, obviously. Like
Right,
this
right. Like it's a queen of elves who lives in a tree, in a tree house, in a tree forest palace.
She doesn't know me. Why does she want to give me a gift?
And
No,
who
thank you,
left the
stranger.
gifts? And
I
who
won't
left the
take.
gifts?
I don't want the candy from your white van.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
good, actually. Could I just keep walking on the road I was walking on? I need
Yes.
to find the king.
Yes. We examined the gifts and were given a longsword that counted as a simple weapon. So, hey,
I guess a rogue can use it.
I was about to say, hey, rogue, you know the cool thing where you're kind of like nimble and do all your like little dagger stuff? Never mind, here's a longsword. And and a royal poisoner's kit, an item that the M told us explicitly out of character will be the most vital piece of equipment we will use on this journey, as the thorns outside the city were only the beginning of the vile poisons in the land. Spoilers, it will never be used again. We awoke the next day to the beauty in the.
That is hilarious because I was like, that's a little ham-fisted. as the DM to tell them what the most important item is. This is already very much shaping to a campaign where it's like the DM has scripted everything that's going to happen, and you just kind of go through the motions. You have no, like, you don't really have any meaningful agency. The DM is telling you what the plot is, and it has already written down that the DM doesn't care to play to find out what happens at all. But the idea, so it's like it's already a little ham-fisted that you're giving them this clue and telling them out of character so that they kind of, in quotation marks, know it's true, right? Rather than it coming from a character or coming from context clues. The best part is that it actually is wrong. The best part is that it actually is irrelevant. So it seems like the DM had their own scripted plot and then changed it as time went on.
Absolutely.
And forgot.
And like, to be fair, it might be like, hey, it's a poisoner's kit. I know in the usual campaign it doesn't get used, but in this campaign it's useful, so don't sell it. This is a gift. And, you know, it doesn't have to be that he has scripted everything, but maybe the DM knows that the bad guys down the road who kidnapped the king are all poison-themed frogs or something. And then it's like, this is useful. This is tactical. Anyways.
Also, I'm curious what a royal poisoner's kit is.
It's...
like, is this for poisoning royals specifically, or is this the king's personal poisoning kit? Neither seems like it would come in a standardized variety.
Yes. And neither looks like it would just be left to a Queen of the Fae in case the king's son comes by. Anyways, Galadriel gives them the gift.
I am the king. Here's a present. The King Killer dagger.
We awoke the next day to the beautiful scenes of the Elven city. Being blocked by the bare ass of a man perched on a branch side outside our window, taking a shit while grinning at us. Oh my god, I can't read this. Yes, this man's beautifully crafted rodent campaign starts with the window being blocked by the bare ass of a man perched on a branch outside our window, taking a shit while grinning at us. I can't.
I don't know what's going on anymore. By the way, for the record, I was saying earlier, maybe I've heard of this one. I definitely haven't heard of this one.
You definitely have or have not?
No, haven't. I definitely haven't.
Good.
No idea what's going on. What?
Oof.
I don't know if this DM knows what the theme of their campaign is.
Yes. This man was Periwinkle and was supposed to act as our guide to the dwarven city to the north. But the DM actually just used him as an excuse to make juvenile and obnoxious humor, yelling and making fart noises constantly. And here comes the sexual bit, and even going so far as to masturbate in the corner of a room once in full view of the party. This is the end of the sexual bit. There will be no more sexual stuff from now on. I'm pretty sure.
How not to do comedic relief. This guy saddled you in session 2 with Turbo Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks was beating it off every time that like Jedi shit was happening.
Just imagine. It's basically, this story so far is Lord of the Rings, but Jar Jar Binks is there, and nobody will let the Fellowship actually do what they want to do.
It's literally about the return of a king. Oh my god, it is.
Like, the Fellowship is like 100% zoned in and focused on their goal, but everyone around them is just a fucking circus, keeping them from doing what they need to do.
Yeah, this is like the Fellowship of the Ring in Rick and Morty.
It's funny to imagine it. You know how like sometimes you read a book, like a Brandon Sanderson book, where the first part of the book is like all set up? Kind of feels like what it is right now, but it's like, what is this setting up to? Like, yeah, I get how some of this maybe seems like it's unrelated right now, but it might come together later on in the plot. Which, hey, by the way, really dangerous strategy to do in an improvised medium, but hey, we already know this is a novel, and you're just watching it. But it's so crazy because like, what do these elements combine
this man created a whole world with a lot of love and care, and usually it's the players that don't take the world seriously and the DM is upset. But the DM is like, hey guys, what if the NPC was like beating her off and like shitting in front of it?
So is your DM 12, maybe?
Yeah. The DM has the world building skills of J.R. Tolkien and the writing skills of like 14-year-old me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Actually, this character was his self-insert. It's just his Mary Sue.
Oh boy, yeah, we're not there yet. We're not at that part yet. No, no, no
No
spoilers.
spoilers. No spoilers.
We leave the Elven city and head north, following an established trade route before encountering a lookout tower with a general store situated beneath it. Now, I guess with Periwinkle guiding them because he's their guide, we asked
Yay!
the store owner for info on the area, and he explained that the trade routes are empty and supplies
Mhm.
scarce due to a nest of giant fire ants that took up residence underground, pushing back the dwarves and attacking caravans as well. Hey, world building,
Creative. Interesting.
ecology.
It's so funny. It's so jarring. It's so jarring. Like, like I mean, I'm literally a little bit like this DM in our campaign that we're currently playing. I feel like my DMPC is sometimes a little bit of a comedic relief, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's because my world is really like it's quite dark. The themes are fairly mature. Like so far, like this is just a giant nest of fire ants.
Yes. We offered to try and stop the ants, given how this was session 4 and we had not rolled a single dice. So these guys have come back 3 times. And we had not rolled a single dice so far, and we were absolutely chomping at the bit for some action.
Yeah.
The shopkeeper offers assistance in the form of goods, an elven chain shirt for me, and a full set of adamantine plate for the cleric. Much to
Seems
our
pretty
utter
cool.
and complete shock, as we're only level 3.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
adamantine plate is not that crazy. As far as I remember, it just negates crits, which is like, that's nice. But overall, what we're talking about is that once every 20 attack rolls, your damage is sort of halved, but not fully halved,
I think
right?
also
It's like
you,
40%
I,
damage
was, I
reduction
think
once in every 20 attack rolls.
I
So
don't know
it's
how
like not.
this. I don't know how this cleric is, but I think you also don't have the strength requirement.
No, I think a Forge Cleric, because he's a Forge Cleric, I think he would be able to wear it. I think it would work.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm saying I think that adamantine or mithril or something, one of these removes the strength requirement from a suit of armor.
No. You're thinking about the Elven Chain shirt. That's what Elven Chain does. Elven
Oh,
Chain
okay.
removes the strength requirement and doesn't give you negatives on like spellcasting and stuff like that
I
when you
see.
wear it. So it's kind of like the typical mage armor, like not
Mm,
mage armor the spell, but the armor that's designed for mages
yeah,
that's in the PHP. And I guess it would be okay on a rogue, like
yeah,
because rogues normally can't wear medium armor, right?
mhm,
So it would be good on a rogue,
yeah. But yeah, also the
depending on
plate is like
dex.
5,000 gold pieces, and like this guy's a cleric. I don't know what he started with, but if he started with a cleric started with equipment, this is a huge upgrade.
Yeah, I mean that is true, right? You're right. It is full plate, so it's probably like +2 AC and negates crits. So the fact that it's full plate is actually more impactful, I would say, in this situation than the fact that it's adamantine,
Yeah, but
right?
adamantine probably makes it like a lot more valuable in gold pieces.
Yeah, I mean
Anyways,
that's true. Yeah, I mean if you're playing
w-
with normal
yeah,
D&D gold, the magic
yeah,
items have insane, nonsensical prices.
yeah. We are guided to a tunnel where the ants venture from and head inside,
Okay,
readying ourselves for combat. And
let's do it.
combat we receive, kinda. I attempt to set up series of traps using string, wire, and oil and fire flasks. But when combat began, the DM said that the ants were unusually intelligent and stepped over the traps harmlessly and beelined us. We rolled initiative, and their first attack puts me under half health. I realized
Nice.
that with so many giant ants pouring out and our trap removed, we aren't winning this and we're forced to retreat. The DM
Yeah.
informs us that we were supposed to beat the fire ants to level up, but since we did not, we will stay at level 3. We're a bit annoyed, but we got unreasonably high tier armor anyways, and the shopkeep just let us keep it. So we move on.
That's crazy. All right, so I love this moment because I feel like in a vacuum, I feel like this is typical of DMing. In a vacuum, none of these moments are that awful. Can you make a campaign work where you give them powerful magic items at the start of the campaign? Absolutely. Can you make a campaign work where characters like where you don't balance the world? Right, like I've seen people advocate for this, and some video games do this, and I do think it can work. Right, you don't always need linear scaling. Right, sometimes it can be like, no, this area is too tough for you. Right, and can you make a situation work where the objectives to level up are anchored in the world? It's like literally, if you kill this guy, you will level up. Right, you can do all of those things. And you can even do a world where ants are smart. Actually, that one I felt like fair play. That may seem kind of like cheating, but it does happen sometimes that you write down ahead of time, these are smart ants. And then you're like, wow, this
Yeah.
track's pretty basic. I think the ants would figure it out, right? But
Yeah.
you put them all together, and it's just kind of like, weirdly, it's just like you're living at the whims of the DM. It's like, here you get +2 armor for nothing. Okay, I thank you. And now go fight these ants. I will. The ants fuck you up. Okay, I run away. All right,
You
you don't
get to
get to
keep
level up then.
yeah, but you get to keep you get to keep the armor from this guy who just gave it to you.
Yeah. So how would you fix this? Obviously, you just make the ants much weaker.
You make the ants much weaker, and like you maybe give the reward after they complete the
Yeah.
quest, so it feels like
Or make
it's
the reward conditional to completing the quest. Like, oh, if you don't kill
sure.
the ants, we take the armor back. That's another easy
Exactly.
way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that maybe this DM doesn't know how to balance combat yet. They seem like they're maybe newer, or maybe they thought that, or it's the magic items. They thought the magic items would cancel out this kind of a differential, which it doesn't, right? Like you can give people a lot of magic items before it really starts to affect combat balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we make it to the next city. Well, a walled military camp, they call the city, and got our first major clue to the king's whereabouts. A wizard,
Nice.
who was the embodied stoner archetype that lived in the area, knew of an even more powerful wizard, last seen in the Dwarven Kingdom, that may know the whereabouts of the king. But to reach the king, we need to access the Dwarven city through the same tunnels the ants inhabit. So here we have a little bit of plot where you start connecting the dots. Oh, the ants is a real problem, and also a wizard knows a wizard who knows a wizard who knows a wizard, and it's all wizards.
It's all wizards all the way down.
All the way down. So of course
it's funny because this is like exactly what you were saying earlier, where the party is like takes the world seriously, but the DM doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is an unusual and odd mismatch. Normally it's like the party is like, look, I'm sitting down to have fun, I'm improvising with friends, right? And the DM is like, this is my opus. I spent so many hours on this. There's something I want to express through this world. Right. And then the players are like, oh, haha, I fart on the other player. And the DM is like, please, guys, you're supposed to be my heroes. Can you just be normal?
I do a backflip.
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, it's the other way around. The players have done so little. At this point, I would be so minimally invested in this campaign. I haven't rolled a die until once. Then I got my ass whooped. So this campaign sucks.
Yeah.
As a player, I would already be like checking out. But here it's like the players are like, oh yeah, we gotta find this king. Let's talk to the mysterious wizard on the edge of town. Maybe he knows something. And the DM's like, what if the wizard was a stoner though?
Yeah.
Drugs, am I right, guys? Wouldn't drugs be funny?
Yeah, so we have Dwarven Kingdom. We established that the trade with the dwarves is impeded by the ants. This guy, this DM, at least has an idea. He keeps undermining the seriousness of his idea, but there is something going on here. You have the ants, we have the dwarves, we have the Dwarven city. There's a man there who knows where the king is, and we need to get rid of these ants. So of course we leave our guide behind, Periwinkle, the farting, beating off man.
Oh, perfect.
And the pooping, the shit, and make our way to the heart of the anthill. I knew we were still certainly underleveled for it, but it was obviously where the DM wanted us to go. So we started the trek. So these guys are like, I see the railroad, and I accept it.
Yeah.
Multiple times during this trek.
These are TTRPG players who have been beaten. These are broken elephants, right? At this point, it's like they see the flimsiest railroad laid out, and they're like, all right, I'll follow it.
barely disguised railroad. Multiple times during this trek.
Can I just quickly ask? We're done with the elves now.
Yes, I think elves will never. Well, we'll have drow later.
There were no consequences to the gifts. There was no reason to force them to be surrounded by vines.
No, there will be drow later. There will be drow later, but unrelated. No poisoner's kid, nothing. There will be drow later, but unrelated to the other elves.
That's just hilarious. I feel like the DM just started a campaign and then started a different campaign. They should have started on the road to the Dwarven city. Clearly, nothing that happened before that mattered.
Yes. But yeah, So we start the trek. Multiple times during this trek, we'd be attacked by some more giant bugs that were also far above our level, who would attack us, down us, and then be gone by the time we returned to consciousness. It got tiresome. Fast.
Wait, they didn't kill you or eat you? You just kind of.
They just fuck you up and
I
leave
just
you.
love these gigantic bully bugs that just come out of the woodwork to beat the shit out of you, and then they leave.
Yes. We made camp atop a hill with a vantage point, and in the middle of the night, the alarm spell I had cast went off. We can see from inside our tent that we were surrounded on all sides by devils who were
What?
talking loudly. Yes, by devils.
All right.
Who were talking
I was willing to
loudly.
give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe the poison has something to do with the giant ants, but at this point, tonally, where's the world building at? Is this Tolkien? Is this ant world? Like, is this insect world Tolkien, or like Dante's Inferno? Where are we?
So knowing what happens later, this is the branching point where the side quest kicks in, the devil side quest, which in my mind exists only. Well, you'll see. But like,
right.
I think this is where the DM had an idea and was like, I'll do a side quest.
Yeah.
So
it's like when Brandon Sanderson in his lectures talks about how like readers get bored of your book because you say, my book is going to be about A, but then as you're writing it, you fall in love with idea B, and you have this huge subplot about idea B, and idea A isn't getting progressed, and then your readers get bored because they're like, I'm here for the main plot, not the side plot.
Yeah, kind of, exactly. Roy could understand Infernal, so he translated that they were here to kidnap us and take them to their boss. We had no time to react as the devils tear into the tent as we discuss strategy out of character, throwing us into combat. Yep.
I mean, this is just the DM's pattern at this point. The DM's pattern at this point is introduce obstacle, players start to respond to obstacle like normal humans would. DM forces obstacle upon them because actually you have to submit to the obstacle.
Yeah.
Also, kidnapping arcs are like, notoriously handle with care. So, and I don't think this DM will.
Why do you think that? You have so prejudiced.
Because of Turbocharge our Binks. It's fine.
We land no hits, and we are both downed, but maintain consciousness to see the devils over us. The DM stoner wizard pops into existence by our heads and then notices the devils, which he dispatches instantly by blowing a dank cloud at them, which removes them from existence.
Perfect.
The wizard restores us to full...
This is just a joke setting at this point, right?
Yes. The wizard restores us to full health and says he brings news that he has a new lead on the king's location. We point out that we need to eliminate the ants anyways, to which the wizard says he forgot we had to do that, crosses his eyes, wiggles his fingers, and the entire anthill disappears.
What the fuck?
I know!
So, by the way, my meta read of this is that this DM, cannot at all balance combat. Not even like a little bit. Consistently keeps downing his party with random encounters, not understanding why their party can't fight back, then downs them with these devils, and then just goes, oh, fuck. Alright, well, here's my NPC, and my NPC takes care of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's incredible. And
it's also just like, oh, great, so nothing means anything, and all our effort for the last couple of weeks was useless, and every time I come here on Thursday night, I am a joke. I am a punchline to a joke. The setup of the joke is, I put so much effort into this, and the punchline is, your fucking wizard can take care of it. I know it's make-believe. I know it's not real. You don't have to tell me that these aren't real problems. The whole trick of the matter is to make them seem like they're real, make it seem like I'm doing something interesting, make it an interesting story.
Yeah, no, not at all. The point is to keep bring up a problem, almost killing the party, and then coming up with a solution that undermines everything, and then rinse and repeat. And that's how you write the next fantasy epic. So, just
how much of this do you think the DM had planned?
I believe that he had planned the Forest Queen. The Elven Queen, because that's just Galadriel. And I believe that the dwarves and the ants were planned as a setup. But
I think we are currently in the third campaign idea the DM had. I think the DM was like, let's do a Feywild Elven Queen thing, changed his mind, and was like, let's do ants thing, like ants and bugs thing, and then changed his mind and was like, no, we're doing the devil campaign now.
yeah,
Like, this story could start with the devils. So
Yep.
far, nothing relevant has been established by either the Elven Queen or the ant storyline. I mean, what's been established is that this DM is bad, but like...
Well, we know that in the Dwarven kingdom, there's someone who has a clue about the king's position, but that will actually pay off.
Yeah, I mean, you could start with that information.
Yeah,
you
you
could
could.
start the campaign with that information. You're on the road to the Dwarven thing. Why? Because there's a wizard there who has knowledge. Cool.
Mhm.
But on your first night, these devils show up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's where the story could currently start.
Yeah. So just to remember, Stoner Wizard just popped in, dispatched the devils with a dank cloud, and removed the anthill and restored them to full health.
Perfect.
That's where we are. And I will just now read an entire paragraph. I'll just read the paragraph, and you'll see where we are, and we will end at the end of the paragraph, and it's insane.
All right.
Obviously, Roy and myself are flabbergasted. We ask why the hell he didn't do this long ago when the trade routes were shut down, to which he laughs and says he was just too lazy to do it then. We are obviously getting exasperated with the entire situation, but the wizard then said we needed to search the Underdark for the king. Before we could reply, he exhales another cloud, and we open our eyes in a collapsed building somewhere underground. As soon as we step outside the building, we are ambushed by drow women riding spiders, who kidnap us and take us to the Queen Grand Priestess. The Grand Priestess explains that men are below slave status in this land, but a rebellion has risen up, and they have kidnapped her three daughters, so she wants us to go rescue them. We told her no, frustrated with our decisions having no impact, but we were told that we had no choice in the matter, and we were wrapped in webbing and wake up again in another crumbled building. We immediately find the rebels, who we find are slaves, rising up against the queen, and they tell us that where the princesses are, as well as that they were actually kidnapped by a devil. Cool.
You kidnapped them twice. Actually, you get beaten out by bugs. Actually, you get kidnapped by devils. Actually, you get kidnapped by a wizard. Actually, you get kidnapped by drow. Actually.
So this is an entire other campaign premise?
Yeah, this is a whole nother fucking campaign, but this is Out of the Abyss. Like, slightly modified, I guess, right? But this is like, in Out of the Abyss, it's demons underground, but it's like, drow and your slavery, you wake up in a prison, right? That's how Out of the Abyss starts. And This is just another module, like, remixed in a weird, stupid way. Also, I love, like, simply the idea that good heroes are forced to help fight the tyrant against the slaves, right? Is already a dark and like a concept and a lot to put your players through, right?
Yeah.
And that's like one sentence out of the story so far. Yeah. It's like,
you know how
the title was like
the
world is the DMs, we just kind of live in it. I don't agree. Everything is the DMs. You just sit and watch.
It's fascinating. You know how it's like how they say that as the DM you need to like master the art of yes ending.
Yeah.
This DM has mastered the art of and.
Yeah.
Without the yes and. It's just and.
Yeah, it's just no and something unrelated.
Yeah. No, and we're doing ants now. No, and devils.
But I don't want to do ants. Fuck you, we're not doing ants anymore. We're doing drow now. But I don't want to do drow. Fuck you, we're not doing drow anymore. We're doing devils now.
We're back to devils. And to me, like, I think that, like, I believe that this, like, drow subplot is entirely improvised. I think what happened is he wanted them to do a devil thing. The devils were they were fighting the devils were killing them. And he was like, fuck, how do I correct this? Well, of course, the wizard teleports in and kills all the devils. But now I want to go back to devils. So the wizard brings him to the Underdark. I do a cookie cutter drow stuff. Like, this drow stuff is, like, super basic. The
Yeah, I
women
think
are
this
on
drow
top.
stuff basically exists to be like, hey, devils exist in this setting and they want to kidnap you. And then like, oh, but they don't manage to, right? Which I think is actually a good thing, right? That's how, like, you could make a good story out of the idea that your first night on the road, devils appear, they try to kidnap you, they don't manage to, but then you go into a different scenario and you see devils have kidnapped people here as well. And you realize, okay, so the fact that they want me and the fact that they want this other person is probably somehow connected, and this other person has gone through an experience I can a little bit empathize with because it almost happened to me, right? So I want to save them and figure out what makes them like me, right? So that I can figure out what's up with the devil plot, right? This feels like the opening moves to me of like a devil arc, right? And the drow are just sort of filler. They're just to space in between these two moments.
They can be a minor antagonist you fight at low level because you can't fight devils at low level, and if you fight devils at low level, you're gonna make them look like bitches.
It's just crazy. This story is not like level wise. This is not a good story for third level characters in D&D. Like this is a good story for seventh level characters in D&D.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this is not a good story. Just period.
yes. But the version I made out of it in my mind a second ago.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is crazy. Like the DM owns everything. I feel like by the time I got to the Drow Queen, after like the fourth kidnapping or whatever, when we were told we have no choice in the matter, I'd be like, no, kill me then.
Yeah.
My character refuses to move.
We're close to that point.
Like I refuse to move. I refuse to do anything. I do not say yes. I say no. No matter how much they torture me, I still keep saying no. The second they let me out of their sight, I run away, right? Or I try to run away, right? I just be like, no, I'm not complying. I am not complying, right? You have no choice in the matter. I don't care. That's not true. You always have a choice. You are coercing me. Kill me then. Kill me then.
Yeah, cowards, do it. Do it.
I would have a full meltdown with this DM at this point.
Arriving at the building where we were told the princes were, we enter, and of course, the princesses are in plain view, as is a 15-foot tall devil.
Perfect.
The devil turns his attention to us and inquires why we're here. Roy declares that we want the princesses for the Drow Queen. The devil laughs at us and says no, unless we make a delivery for him. He wants us to deliver a supreme ring of curse removal to a man out in the Dwarven Kingdom. And a man in the Dwarven Kingdom. There's something.
Yeah,
and this is where this is where I think that this is why I think that like earlier with the devils, that's where the side quest begins, because this thing still ties into the Dwarven Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I think that he had an idea, but where this idea will lead is insane. But there is a payoff here to this, like having this like supreme ring of curse removal. Anyways.
Well, I mean, again, like in the story of like this is a story that playing, I feel like you can only enjoy if you have a degradation kink, right?
Yeah.
Here's my cool hero. Well, here's how your hero. I mean, so far this is how your hero gets beaten up by 10 different people because everybody's better, right?
Yeah.
And so they go to this devil. They don't even fight the devil. The devil just like laughs at them and is like, no. So it's just like, great. I'm such a hero. I love my life.
Roy loses his shit. He draws his sword, points at the devil, and makes an IRL inspirational speech about his refusal to be a puppet to the whims of fate, as well as an oath that he'd slay the devil even if it cost his life. That lasts for a couple of minutes. Man put all of his heart into it, and I was genuinely taken aback by his sincere performance. So again, the players are taking this so seriously.
This is
unfortunately
awesome. This is the fucking awesomest way to take the shitty, like, fucking. This is
you make your Dalinar stance, like,
exactly.
I will not.
He's standing in the middle of a fucking rotting Chuck E. Cheese's, right? And he was like, I will not be ruled by the whims of fate. It's like the most badass thing made from the worst, like, setup, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, DM was not impressed, and when he stopped, the DM said, that was a cool speech, but I magicked it into your finger while you were yapping. Roy says, I remove it. You can't. It's stuck on. It will only remove itself when you find the man to deliver it to. Also, the queen can have her worthless kids back, the devil says, and he snaps his fingers, presumably returning the princess back to the queen, and disappears himself.
Okay, wait. What does he magic into the finger? You lost me on that bit.
The ring of curse removal that he wants to deliver. Like what the paladin is doing his speech, the devil like teleports the ring on his finger, and now it's stuck there.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Roy is beside himself, clearly at the point where he looked like he'd cry at any second. We were tired and completely sick of being tossed around his story with no impact, with everyone ignoring us. We didn't want to say anything hurtful to DM because he was our mutual longtime friend, so we agreed to just grit our teeth until he finished his tale. So I think
Oh, bad move.
the players are real heroes here.
No.
The
No.
players are heroically putting
No.
themselves through this.
No.
Yes.
No. This
Next.
is where the players step wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. It is true, but it's admirable anyways that they would go through this.
It's an admirable instinct, but it's the wrong instinct. If someone's
Yes.
hurting you, you have to speak up. You can't just
Yeah.
selflessly sacrifice yourself, because I assume this story ends with them never being able to be friends again with their DM. This was one of their last chances to course correct and say, "Hey DM, this is not working. Can we change something?" And either then have an altercation with the DM, or to say, "Hey DM, this is not working. We won't play this game anymore, but we'd love to invite you to this other game as a player." Right?
Yeah.
Like, this was one of the last points where they could still salvage this relationship. I assume the resentment that builds up while they quote unquote grit their teeth is going to tank this relationship forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense. Next session, so they come back. We find a hole where the devil stood. This hole led to a tunnel that took us, obviously, directly to the chambers of the dwarf queen. Because at this point, why the hell wouldn't it? Yeah, there's just like a little dwarven hole. You just like walk through the hole and you pop out in the chamber. I mean, at this point,
this world is a joke.
At this
point, I'm like, yes, this world is a joke. This world is a Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah, this place is like, you know how in Super Mario you go down a tube and you appear somewhere.
This is Mushroom Kingdom.
Yes. We tell the queen that our goal was, of course, finding the king. And she said she knows nothing of that, but knows someone who might. A legendarily powerful wizard who was currently locked away because he was under the effect of a potent curse. So the stoner wizard said that he knew a wizard, another wizard, and this lady there says that there's a wizard who's cursed, and the devil wants them to deliver a ring of curse removal.
Yeah, so, and I'm gonna assume that Dank Wizard is the wizard who needs the curse removal.
Well, no, because they already met sorry, when I say the Dank Wizard,
but that's
I mean
I think it's like an Obi-Wan situation, right?
Oh, okay.
I know a man. It's him. I'm him.
Okay. Well, you would think that,
but I'm under a curse, so I can't really say that. So instead, I say weed, bro.
Well, someone has read Tress of the Emerald Sea. Also, you trying to somehow predict that any like interesting, not even good, just like interesting writing would occur here is foolish, and you have learned nothing, sir. You are as foolish as these players. Roy and I immediately realized that this is likely both the wizard spoken of by the Dank Wizard and the devil's recipient for the ring. We suppress annoyed sighs and ask to see him. She walks us to a sealed chamber where we are described a man that has been locked away in countless chains with arcane runes etched onto them. As the DM describes the scene, my soul leaves my body. Taking a step back to prior to this game starting, our group was playing Curse of Strahd, with myself as DM and the current DM as a player. During this game, DM was playing a drow wizard who accepted all the dark gifts of the Ember Temple at once, granting him great power but cursing him in a myriad of disgusting ways. His PC was turned evil, and the game ended with him betraying the party and becoming Lord of Barovia. So imagine my surprise when the man standing in front of us in this new campaign is none other than that same drow wizard. I can feel the storm approaching, and I'm sure Roy could as well. So
this is awful.
This is so bad, and it's incredible.
It's so funny. Could you imagine, like, if this happened in movies? If, like, after X-Men Last Stand, like, Hugh Jackman directed another Wolverine movie in which they bring back Dark Phoenix or whatever, and she's actually saved and nothing bad happens.
And he gets to have sex with Dark Phoenix, and the movie is just like 80 minutes. of them having sex, and Hugh Jackman is like, "Yeah, I wrote
And then-
this. How can you tell?"
And the main villain of this movie is just the director of of X-Men: The Last Stand, just like Lord Farquaad sized.
Yeah. And the movie opens with Dark Phoenix like blowing him to dust. And then the rest is just like Hugh Jackman having sex, and is like, "Yeah, no,
This is my artistic vision.
this is my vision." Yeah, Francis
It says
Ford
a lot about the
Coppola.
human soul in the 21st century.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman really would go really Francis Ford Coppola there.
Oh my
Anyways.
god. Yeah, by the way, guys, so just so you know, as a DM, you have unbelievable power. You direct the world. So there's already so much focus on you. It's very gauche to take the focus and set it further on you. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to have a DM PC that takes too much spotlight, or to have a PC from a previous campaign who is yours show up in this campaign.
Yeah.
That's not cool. A cool way to do it is, and again, D&D tables vary, so maybe sometimes it's cool or whatever, you know, but refer back to a D&D argument worth having, right? But generally speaking, right, the way you do it is you have an NPC, right? You have an NPC who shows up again and again, who's not too important, but who helps a little bit, and most importantly, the party loves. It has to be somebody the party actually likes, otherwise it's just weird and distracting.
Yeah.
It, generally speaking, is you as the dungeon master, you are the director. The movie's not about you, right? How many times have we seen awesome movies where the main actor is also the director? We haven't. That doesn't happen a lot, right? So the point is, you're the director. The movie's not about you. The movie's about your characters, right? And that's why you have to make it about your characters. You can't make it about your PC from a previous campaign. Also, huge no-no to invade somebody else's previous campaign. Like, their DM powers sculpt their world. You don't just get to rip off their world for your stupid world and then make it worse. Like, you have to ask them before you do that. You have to get their explicit consent.
Yeah. All right. Now we have to get this shit moving. So I'll just read a couple of paragraphs. I'll give you a cue when we're back to commenting. Okay? Okay. The ring falls off Roy's finger, and he offers it up to the bound wizard, and all at once, all his hindering curses flash away, obviously leaving the beneficial boons that came with fully intact, and he is freed from his bindings. He is, of course, eternally grateful and insists on staying with us to the conclusion of our journey, despite our own insistence that a mage as powerful as he had better things to do. We weren't so lucky. The NPC says he knows where the king is being held and will take us there, prompting another teleportation, this time to a city that could be described as Agrabah. From Aladdin.
As what?
Agrabah. From Aladdin.
Oh, from Aladdin. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I just didn't recognize the city name.
We had no clue where we were on the map this time, but we also didn't care, so we went with it. So the PCs are broken.
This is the part where it's just like the depravity increases exponentially because the players have stopped caring. They've been broken.
The NPC says the king is held in the local prison, but we need to sneak in. Finally, I think, something my character is inherently good at. I tell the DM I want to wander the bazaar inconspicuously and listen in on conversations to gather further intel, to which I'm told I am promptly seized by the guards.
Super.
I'm floored as demand to know why I was arrested when all I did was walk a public street, to which DM says matter-of-factly, the people in the city have a distinct cultural attire that you aren't wearing. It marks you as an outsider. So these guards are just racist. I tried to protest that this information wasn't provided to us, but he simply narrated me getting dragged to a jailhouse and tossed in a cell.
Wow, what fun.
If you've been paying attention, I'm sure you can guess whose cellmate I was. Ceres. Who's his cellmate?
Is it the shitter?
No.
Who else
is in local
wizard?
prison? Who else is in local prison?
The stoned wizard? I don't know.
The king. He's being held in a local prison.
The king is in a local prison. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, they said it. Yeah,
I assume because he is the king of a foreign nation, visited this country, wasn't wearing the right clothes, and therefore instantly got arrested.
Yes.
Ah, dang it.
Out of character, I've just hit my limit, as never in my years of playing D&D have I encountered such a railroaded game before. But as soon as I identify the king, the NPC teleports in, along with Roy. in this local prison, in the cell, leaving me questioning why did the NPC didn't just teleport us to the king,
What
if
was
that
the
was
point of
always
this?
in his power.
It's because the DM thought it would be funny for you to get arrested and be in despair because he loves seeing you in despair, and then
Yeah.
get to reveal from the palm of his hand a little treat, like a god feeding a starving chihuahua, and go
Yeah.
here. But actually, the king is here, and he wanted to see the delight on your face when he contrasted those two
Yeah.
positions, and it thought it was a clever way to bring you to the king.
Yeah. So to be clear, now at this point, like they embarked on a journey on to get the king.
Yeah.
I think in my read is that the DM thought, hey, that NPC in the dwarven city they need to talk to, wouldn't it be cool if that was my wizard, my cursed wizard? And wouldn't
Yeah.
it be cool if they went on a side quest to get a ring of curse removal, so I
Yeah.
can uncurse my own wizard, so he becomes the most powerful, best guy ever?
Yeah.
And
So
so that's the
stupid.
payoff.
Why the
That's the
devils want
payoff.
him uncursed, and why the devils want to kidnap the party in the first place? Beyond me.
I don't know. And why does the dwarven queen hold this guy captive, but is okay with them just like uncursing him, freeing him, and just walking out to prison with him?
I think the chains are a metaphor for curses, but it is kind of weird because it's like, why are you? This guy should be in a hospital bed. What are you doing to him?
Well, he did say that the curses made him evil, so I guess now that he's uncursed, he's not evil anymore. I guess.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
We found the logic.
Yeah. I point out that we need to sneak him out of the city, to which the NPC simply teleports the whole party outside the city walls and onto a nearby roadway. Roy audibly groans, but the M either ignores it or didn't catch it, and instead narrates a horse-drawn carriage coming down the road. I suggest we flag them down for a ride to the nearest port, and the M says that the sigil on the side is familiar because it has the royal seal of our native kingdom. Roy and myself are shocked, to say the least, as nobody from our home kingdom should have been in Durandal. But the carriage stops.
This is really far away.
Yeah, and just like, why? But the carriage stops and the door swings open, revealing Roy's character's older brother. Dun dun dun!
What?
Who was neither in his backstory nor been mentioned until this point.
Okay.
So Roy had an older brother all along. This older brother greets us and invites us into the carriage, where he explains that it was him that orchestrated the capture of the king, and that he simply couldn't allow any of us to return to our home because he was the rightful king now. Then he gets ejected from the carriage, like a fucking James Bond, like ejector seat, just before the carriage fucking explodes.
And this is the wizard, I guess?
No, it's booby-trapped. The older brother pulls a lever, gets James Bond ejected from the carriage, and then the carriage is booby-trapped and explodes with the king in it.
Oh, I see.
He's murdering.
And the rest of the party is murdered too. The end. Let's leave.
I wish. We all take tremendous damage, and the king is in critical condition. Roy tries to heal him. Hey, he's a cleric. But DM says he's too far gone. You can't heal. The king names me the rightful heir to the throne. I refuse, insisting Roy's both his son and has proven his valor, and so should be the rightful heir. As I'm talking,
make any sense.
As I'm talking, the king shoves another magic ring onto my character's hand, saying it marks the true king and it can't be removed unless by powerful magic. And then he dies.
Oh my god.
So this guy was like, hey, Lord of the Rings had rings. I should have...
This guy came up with one trick and liked it way too much.
Roy
I'll just put a ring on your finger you can't take off. Haha, gotcha.
It's awful. Roy is pissed, clearly. I'm pissed, obviously. DM is beaming, like he has personally subverted every literal expectation and was the next Tolkien given flesh.
This is so funny because it's just like, watch me write the shittiest novel in the world.
Yeah. It's like,
and
yeah,
you
did.
Sit and watch me write it live, baby. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you correctly wrote something that people wouldn't usually write. You did subvert literary canon.
Exactly.
But usually
you subverted all the rules of high cuisine by serving me a rancid raccoon.
Good job. This is subversive. This was the last session we played, as both Roy and I explained that we had no interest playing anymore.
I'm shocked.
Especially
shocked.
since outside of combat we maybe rolled 3 checks in total.
Yeah.
This is so funny. Like, it's incredible the patience that these guys have, because they didn't blow up at him. They just
Yeah.
said, sorry, we're not playing anymore.
And
However,
it's great.
the game apparently didn't fucking end. As even without players, DM continued playing by himself and would update us occasionally on how his DMPC, and he's going to say 3 things, no, 4 things. Just throw out there 4 things that his NPC did after the end. What do you say? Give me 4 guesses. We'll see if you nail any.
He slept with the Dwarven Queen. He smoked a bunch of dank weed. He shat in a corner, and he solved the plot.
Well, I'm gonna give you 1.5 points out of 4. He raised a dead god. He
Perfect.
married the elf queen. This is your half point.
Yeah.
He didn't sleep with the dwarven queen. He married the elf queen, but he slayed the devil king, and he brought peace to the nation, which is, I'm giving you a full point for solving the plot.
Solving the plot.
He brought peace to the nation. Good for him, I guess. The game only lasted about 8 sessions or so, but the mental trauma will scar me for eternity. It's so
8
funny.
sessions. So here's the craziest part to me, is that at the start, they sat down at session 0 and they say, we want a long-form search for the king. And amongst his many other sins, the DM goes, actually, I'm going to resolve the long-form search for the king by session 8, which in my session, you guys were like halfway into your first dungeon. Like, by session 8, right? So, like, by session 8, I'm already going to have resolved that entire plot. I'll have already introduced my godlike DMPC, and the actual plot of the campaign is going to be you have to take back the kingdom, which is not what either of you ever wanted.
Yeah. That's
like, long form search my ass.
Also, 8 sessions is crazy. Like, I mean, I don't want to boast too much, but like recently I ran a game for 2 new D&D players, and I think that like in one session they achieved so much more individually than these 2 guys did. Just because
as characters, these guys didn't achieve anything.
Exactly.
But basically, 8 campaigns happened. We did the start of the start of Elfthorn campaign. We did the start of Ant campaign. We did the start of Dwarf City Intrigue campaign.
We did Devil
We
campaign.
did the start of Devil campaign. We did the start of Drow campaign. We did the Free My DMPC campaign, and then we did the actual plot the players signed up for. We wrapped that up in about a session. So if you think about it,
and then we have Evil Brother campaign.
Yeah, it's shocking how many campaigns you can get through when the players just stop doing things and resisting.
Yes. The game only lasted about 8 sessions or so, but the mental trauma will scar me for eternity. We no longer speak to him for unrelated reasons, which is so funny. I can't even...
I want to know what those reasons are.
I mean, this man has no self-awareness, right? There's a million...
God.
And hopefully he has moved on to just writing fanfic, as it was clearly his intention all along.
Yeah.
TLDR, the Emran's campaign becomes Railroad Tycoon and won't even let players roll dice. The end.
That is hilarious. I love... Take this as a compliment. The original poster, take this as a compliment. Your player loved your Strahd campaign so much that he dedicated like at least 20 hours of his life to writing really bad fanfiction about it.
Yeah, and genuinely, this is... I mean, there's an adage that is bad D&D, no D&D is better than bad D&D. And this is... Man,
Proof.
These guys should have... This story is like the perfect example.
Yeah.
This is like, I don't know, 8 sessions, let's say 4 hours per session.
Yeah.
This is 32 hours of your life.
Yeah. Of just
doing
pure
the
trauma.
worst storytelling.
It's funny because it's also like the DM doesn't take their own setting seriously. It's so hilarious that then the conclusion of the campaign is killing the Demon King, bringing back a dead god, like serious beats.
Yeah. And it's fascinating also, like, what was the campaign going to be from now on? Because they have the Drow super mage. Can they just say, yeah, teleport us to my brother and kill him?
That was the craziest part. I was like, why does the drow teleport you out of the city? Teleport you home.
Yeah.
Why? Why outside the city? And it's like, well, because I need him to go there, because then the carriage shows up and I have to do the stupidest assassination anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, this DM thinks that like DM notes are like meant to be read sequentially. You know, it's like it's not like this thing happens and now the players react and role play and choose what to do next, and then I read the next point.
Yeah.
It's
basically this thing happens, and then the players, if they want, can choose to react correctly, and then this next thing happens regardless.
yeah.
I also love that the king is so far gone that he can't be healed, but he can still like monologue a little bit, pass on a ring, make a legally binding declaration.
Yeah, and like saying like, oh, the son of the king is not necessarily the best, does not make the best king, is like, I mean, true.
Yeah, but this guy's
but
fucking
also,
awesome. He said he
first
wouldn't
this
be
guy's
carried by
fu-
the whims of fate.
First
He did
he's
a whole Theoden speech.
Yeah, first he's fucking awesome. I mean, he's like Aragorn, right? Like he went on a
Yeah.
journey, he earned the trust of people, he earned his title. But also, like, it's not a subversive trope anymore. Like this man has watched Lord of the Rings and decided that's fantasy, and fantasy, and when there's an elven queen and when there's magic rings. And then he probably thought that the ants are subversive as well, like big bugs. That's no one has ever thought of big bugs.
I love also the Poisoner's Kit really didn't ever return, and I don't see how it was going to return, so that's hilarious. I love that they roll so few checks. I mean, in our games, even when
I see how the Poisoner's Kit come back. Hey, you know what could poison you? Bugs. You know what could poison you? Drow. Drow are famous for doing poison.
Uh-huh.
There are so many occasions. It's not
there's so many opportunities, but
like
they didn't come up, or they didn't fruition. But I love that they rolled so few checks. Like in our games when we play, right? Even in a session where there's mostly no combat, we still roll checks. Because there's a chance that when somebody tries to deceive you, for example, they fail their deception check, or you roll an insight check, or when someone tries to persuade you, they might fail to persuade you, or you might fail to persuade them, like, or like you might fail to spot something or something. It's indicative of how railroady this campaign is, how few rolls it has, right? Yeah. And it's not that it's, you know how people say you shouldn't let players roll for things where you don't want them to be able to, you don't want one of the numbers on the die to come up, right?
Yeah.
I think that's true. The problem isn't theoretically that there are no rolls. The problem is that the DM's willingness for player freedom is so narrow that it is exemplified by the fact that there are like only 3 rolls in the there were about 3 roll points in this campaign where the DM was like, all right, I'm willing to leave it up to chance.
Yeah, no, he genuinely said, no, you will not. I will decide always what the reaction of every NPC and the world is to what you do. So I can always say no. No and, no and, no and.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy. This is really like the hostage roller coaster.
Yeah,
right?
like
it's not even a railroad.
Audience.
It doesn't even feel really very much like a railroad or like the DM owns the world, we just live in it, I guess. No. The DM has taken my character and strapped them onto a horror ride, and I just have to sit here for 4 hours a week and watch.
Yeah, it's genuinely awful. I picked this story because of how like there is no lesson. Like you cannot. There is no pitfall. It's just falling.
Yeah, there's no one thing you can fix about this campaign.
Yeah, and there is no mistake that the M's did where you're like, oh yeah, I see. He got controlling, and that's why it went wrong. It's like nothing works here. Everything this was
started bad, it ended bad. It was all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think really this is one of those scenarios where it's like fixing it would be more work than just writing a new story. So just write a new story.
Because you need a foundation to fix, but like nothing here works.
And I think also the other thing that you need to, because I feel like, all right, let me put myself in the shoes of the DM. I think these are the main ways the DM would defend themselves. First off, my narrative is awesome and you fucking suck. Secondly, I put a lot of work into this. And thirdly, it's all plausible within the internal logic of the world. I would say it's not as plausible as you think. And even if it is plausible, it's clearly unfun. and you're weirdly maximizing your game towards it being very predictable and exactly what you want happening. You're not maximizing your game towards fun. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it technically makes sense that once an all-powerful wizard is there, it nullifies everything else the party does. Everything else the party does is where the fun is in the campaign.
That's why you
right?
don't add an all-powerful wizard.
Yeah, but the all-powerful wizard is awesome, dude.
Well, there is Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, so
Yeah, but
we have
Gandalf
to.
can't do a lot, right?
No.
The whole
What I'm
point.
saying is, this guy was like, well, they have Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, just like with Galadriel, so I have to have a wizard.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
sucks.
oh
Yeah.
man.
Thank you for indulging me. I wanted to. This story stuck with me for
Yeah, this is
just
this
how
is great.
entertaining it is. Because sometimes you listen to an RPG horror story, and it's like, this is hard to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one is just so pure.
Yeah, it's bad in a funny way. It's so bad in a funny way.
Yeah. And the fact that it's only 8 sessions makes it also like, okay, this guy, like, it sucked, but like there's longer campaigns that are horror stories.
Well, it's also funny because like when you get up into your own head about like, am I running a good campaign? You can go back to these examples.
Yeah.
Be like,
and I appreciate.
I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, and I appreciate that the players, like halfway through the campaign, had figured out what game they were in, and they were like, let's just grit it out. Let's just wait it out. And so they weren't even coming back with the hope that it would be better.
Yeah.
They were just like,
let's just end the campaign.
Let's just end it. Yeah.
We found the king. We did what we came here to do. But he's dead now. You guys have to keep... Nope. We did it.
Yeah.
Also, the funniest part is how sad it is that this guy is sitting alone in his living room and is like, fuck those guys. They won't play my campaign. I'll play my campaign. I didn't even need them anyway.
Yeah, I'm marrying
he just keeps reporting in on you on his make-believe.
Yeah.
That's the hilarious... Like,
he
how
married the
you
queen.
have to be...
Yeah, I married the queen and resurrected the dead god.
So...
What did you do this afternoon?
I know, it's so pathetic.
I'm having so much sex with the Elven Queen.
It's like so unaware, I guess, that just like D&D by yourself is just make-believe, and that being a DM, it's like the whole thing is to go beyond childish. Can you imagine bragging to your friends about a scenario you made up in your head?
This is like when this is like with power scaling, where it's like, oh well, this make-believe thing could beat that make-believe thing. It's stronger. It's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan is stronger than Superman. What's your point?
It's just like wait until Alan Moore writes an episode where Dr. Manhattan beats up Superman. And then what? But anyways, yeah, it's just like, could you imagine, right, if I called you up on the phone and I told you about how awesome I am for coming up with a make-believe situation in which I was awesome?
Yeah.
You know, because I can imagine calling a friend and being like, I had this awesome idea for a story. Can I tell you about it? Right?
Yeah.
But just being like, aren't I awesome? I have the capacity to make up. I have the capacity to imagine myself, quote unquote, awesome in my head. Like,
yeah, I wanted to make a joke about Edge of Extinction, but like I don't have a self-insert in Edge of Extinction. Like the closest thing to an NPC I regularly play is Meika. But like she doesn't really work as my self-insert, I guess. Also, she already had her even.
Could you imagine if we just like got so fed up with Edge of Extinction because of something, and then we all quit, and you just kept reporting in, letting us know that the Mind Flayers were just kicking everybody's ass or something like that? Yeah. You're like, okay, buddy, it's not real when we're not there. You realize that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with
that's actually a big point for DMs. You have ultimate power as long as it's ratified by the rest of your group.
Yeah, I wanted to say,
right?
That's why he's telling his friends, right? Because that makes it more real.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, obviously it's never real, no matter how much you tell the story, no matter how much you share it.
It's like more real the way that like Duke Skywalker is real.
Exactly.
He's real because a billion people like him.
Yeah, like the greatest legitimacy your D&D can have is that your players keep telling the story forever because they had so much fun during it, that they never stop telling the story of your thing. And then maybe they record it or they make art about it. Every piece of something that they do related to the campaign makes it more real, right? So that's why they want a captive audience, right? But the thing is, captive audience won't tell your story. Or they'll tell it in this light, right? Your story is real and immortal in its pathetic loserishness, right?
Yeah, well, it's it's on a Reddit post. It's more immortal than any of my D&D stories. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's immortal in its negativity, its negativity, right? It's immoral in its lack of glamour and tact. So,
and also, like, as the dungeon master, you're always free to make as powerful NPCs as you want. Like, it's completely meaningless how powerful you make your NPCs and your self inserts. Like, I can say, yeah, my guy has 1,000,000 hit points and hits with a plus 42 for 12,000 points of damage. And aren't you impressed?
Yeah. And if it doesn't make the players go, awesome, that's cool, it doesn't make them excited, and it doesn't make them happy, and it doesn't make you happy, right? Like, if it doesn't create a response, then it's like a tree that fell over in the forest, and nobody was there for it. And in D&D, the answer to that is emphatically, if something awesome happens in your campaign, and nobody cares about it, and nobody's there for it, it didn't happen. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
Like the art is making the enemies or like the NPCs, like their power, to make it just right.
The art is in evoking a reaction from the players and a positive reaction from the players, right?
Yeah.
That is the art, right? You're given infinite power. And it's funny that this guy's just sitting in a room being like, I could think of a number higher than infinity. Infinity and 1. It's like, all right, buddy. Sure, have fun.
It's like, yeah. Would devils be cool? Sure would do. Drow are cool. Add the drow.
Throw them all in.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you for indulging me.
Let's plug something better than all of this. Do you have any plugs?
Do I have any plugs? I do have plugs, but I don't remember them right now. Do you have plugs?
I have a plug. I'm really excited for Daggerheart coming out. I was reading a little bit of it earlier today. I'm really excited for it. I mean, it has come out now at this point. If you're listening to this, it's been out for a while. But I'm really excited about it. I've been reading through it, and keep your eyes peeled. At some point, something Daggerheart related may land in the feed.
Yeah. I'm going to plug Pedro Pascal. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
Just go check him out.
He supports his trans sister, I think. I think he has.
Go hunt him down in real life.
Yeah, go hunt him down in real life. If you have Pedro Pascal in your life, I think he's a better friend than enemy. That's all I'm saying. And specifically, he's a great actor. And like a week ago, I watched the penultimate episode of The Last of Us season 2, or close to the ending of season 2, which is only 7 episodes. Yeah. But this season has had some ups and downs. I've heard some reviews that say it's not as stellar as season 1. I'm inclined to agree with it, but like people seem to be more upset about it than I am. But he delivered an acting performance in the penultimate episode that was so good that I noticed. I usually don't notice when an actor is doing a really good job because usually they're just like good at acting and then you don't notice.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was like, oh my God, what is he doing with his face? This is so good. This is so good. And he is. I'm very happy.
Like taken out of it for a moment because you're like, holy shit, this man really is at the depth of despair.
Exactly. And like
he's Pedro Pascal, isn't he?
Exactly. I know he's Pedro Pascal. He's not Joel for real. But yeah, it's almost like it's like something in the show was so good that it clashed with the fact that it's a show and it pulled me out.
Yeah.
It's like when in this RPG horror story we had a single plot beat that was like a payoff, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, you're whoa, wait, no way.
Yeah, but yeah, Pedro Pascal, cool guy. Go watch Fantastic Four.
I'm excited for that. I really want to watch it when it comes out.
Okay.
Alrighty, folks. That'll just about do it for our 35th episode. If you want more, you can find us on youtube.com/@a-friendly-orbit, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you happen to have any astral echoes you want to share with us, maybe an RPG horror story you lived through, you can email us at afriendlyorbit@gmail.com. All one word.
All right, sirs. I'll talk to you later. And to all of our fellow Voyagers, we will catch you out there amongst the stars.